Welcome to episode 61 of Pineapples and Thorns. I'm Kat, and welcome back, Fado, my friend.
Welcome. What's that smell in here?
I don't know. You
Smells
tell me.
like spilled Pepsi or something.
Ooh, yuck. It's gross.
Hey, who's been in here since I've been in here?
I think there was somebody named C Note and
That
our
guy.
good friend Ace.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, well, so Ace couldn't control all the Pepsi. Ugh.
Well, I have heard a rumor that he did indulge in a Pepsi at one point. Must have been
Well,
really desperate.
everyone makes mistakes, Kat.
That's right.
Everyone gets stuck at a B-dubs where all they've got are Pepsi products.
We do forgive him. So, all right, I'm going to jump right into some CFF news here. We just finished the TWSS event. It was Team BG versus Team Kat, and that was an event where both teams were only allowed to use female heroes and troops. So no warden, no king, no wall breakers, no dragons, no loons. If it wasn't female, then as defined by Supercell. Let me add that.
Yes, right. So a balloon that identifies as female still would not be considered.
It is not defined by Supercell as being female, so therefore it was not allowed. And it was complete chaos. It lived up to all our expectations, or lived down to all our expectations. Team BG steamrolled Team Kat with a final score of 29-17. It was brutal.
No, you know what? That's indicative of a rigging.
You think so?
Yeah, I think we should investigate.
I think they had some ringers in there, like Ace. Ace had a lovely 2-star. He was practicing really hard with his female troop comp.
Must have been that Pepsi.
I think so. It juiced him up there. HBM, Handsome Bald Man, had the only triple on on his same town hall level.
Oh, what army was used there? Do you remember?
I believe it was witches, and it was 11v11. So
Time out. Witches, right? Yeah. What do they spawn, and what are they named?
Well,
Larrys.
Yes. However, we don't know if the skellies are actually male or female skeletons, even though they are named Larrys. So we decided to allow it this time.
Oh, androgynous skellies. Who knew? Exactly. This is where we get to this level of analysis.
Larryetta? I don't know. So there were quite a few 0 stars and a few 2 stars, but there was mostly 1 stars. But
were there any comical, come on, if I was trying to do this, it'd be comically bad, and people, and I would probably have a good attitude about it because I'm so used to being comically bad with male troops too. So was there any? Go ahead.
I was going to say, let's put it this way. I think everybody developed a healthy appreciation of the male troops.
Right. No longer will men's voices be quieted or silenced. This quiet minority of men.
They do have a purpose.
Will finally be heard.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so that was it for that event, and I think people had a lot of fun. It's nice to do an event where it really challenges you to think outside the box and try and come up with something. Because at 15, there wasn't a lot of hope of tripling. So healthy respect for anybody who managed to get a 2-star at Town Hall 15.
You're right, because all the dragons are not identified as female, right?
No, they're not identified as male or female. So,
and really sneaky goblins, those are not identified. I give up. It's just Valk City for me.
Well, so we were looking at and trying to figure out, okay, well, what can they use? Boy, it's a really short list of troops that they can use, and the village lady doesn't count. So
maybe that's what I've been missing. I've been trying to deploy a village lady.
That's the secret for tripling. And SCCWL, all the clans are just finishing that up tonight. Red Thorn managed to stay in Champs 3. It was touch and go there for a while. We lost the first few wars and then somehow turned things around and smashed out wins on our last 3. So kudos to everybody there. And
Yeah, nice
TGF
work.
Rising. Go ahead.
That's a nice work, because I know
Yeah.
I know it was a little bleak there.
It was looking pretty grim there for a little while, and everybody just like I say, they pulled it together, smashed out some triples, and kept us where we want to stay. TGF Rising stayed in Masters 1. The
Yes.
rate, yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm going to comment on all of these, Kat.
Please tell us.
So TGF Rising we were rolling for a little bit, but there was one clan in there, and so how does it seem to work that the season you're going for a promotion or something, you always seem to end up having to go against either the top number 1 or the closest number 2 in the last war. And so you're kind of watching that take shape. And the one we would have had to have beaten, we would have had to beaten by like 10 stars at the
Wow.
end in order to promote, because they had one war with a 37. Whereas in the same war, when we went against that team, I think we only had like 32, maybe we got 34. But so that's when you're like, well, shoot. So, but it was a pretty chill week. Um, it's just a little different with a much smaller squad over
Mm-hmm.
there. We're used to our 50 man Red Thorn that, sometimes donations go a little longer than usual. So appreciation for people's patience, but B, for those
Mm-hmm.
who did donate, hats off.
Yeah, for sure. And the rated has been running all 15s for SECW the last couple of months, and we promoted to Masters 1 there. So kudos to them. We had a lot of fun with that. And Shiny Gemeralds is still in Crystal 1.
Yeah, and we did get, by the end of the week, we were able to roll a lot smaller accounts once we had assured we're staying up there.
Yeah, we had a lot of people come over for that this time around.
Yeah, I was usually 3rd on the map, but I'm a maxed 14, so that's what we were up against. But we had a lot of weirdness. I mean, it's Crystal 1, right? So, but we did have, like, I pulled a 14v15, and Rice hit a 13v15.
Oh my
So
gosh.
like, yeah. So they're not 100% max bases, but that's still not easy. Like a 13 versus 13 is not easy, and Rice pulled a 13v15. So, attaboy.
Yeah, good for him.
So yeah, a fun week. It was a fun week.
It had its moments. Overall, I think everybody had a good time.
Easy for me to say fun week because I was not in Redthorn. And not that Redthorn isn't a fun place, but I do know it's the flagship, and it's the one where it's most competitive and least casual. So, um, yeah, good. And everyone did all the clans. No one got curb stomped. No one got demoted. So you know what? That's a good week given how fluid these things go.
Exactly. I'll consider that a success for sure. So it's July, which means a gold pass. Lots of goodies in there, but the main thing that people are talking about is after a number of years of holding the line on prices, Supercell increased the price by $2.
Inflation sweeps through the villages.
Exactly. It's hitting us everywhere. What are we getting for that extra money, Fado?
Well, we get the new banks. Well, a new bank and plus like a little bit of additional stuff. So you get a builder-based bank, which is kind of cool because it's pretty grindy to continually upgrade some of these, like our builder-base Hall 10, whatever that's called. Some of these upgrades, especially early in a season, are just like, oof. So I'm slowly grinding on that, and the bank is going to really help that along. The bank multipliers was the big other thing I was talking about. So, if you achieve a certain amount of season points, I believe your bank gets like doubled, even quadrupled in certain if you reach a certain level. So that's how I understand it. So that's going to be fun. A builder free forge spot where you can forge for what, half the gold or half the elixir, half the dark without using a builder.
And I just want to say something that I think that the Forge should all be builder free.
All right. And how do we propose to get this movement going?
Well,
Is this the start of it, or are we just gonna? Do we have
I'm
a
just saying
hashtag?
it here that I think that, when people are upgrading,
That's a
your
long hat.
clan class.
But
Yeah.
we need a really short hashtag though. Like if we try and do a long hashtag, then like there's a
Oh,
chance of a misspelling, and then
here we
God,
go. I've got it.
what is
Hashtag
it?
free the Forge.
Free the Forge. Hashtag free the Forge.
There you go.
There you go. All right. So for all tens of our listeners, we're going to be searching Twitter after this episode airs, whatever. Like I feel like we're on the radio and I'm 1930s or something, but whenever this drops, we're going to start searching Twitter for hashtag free the forge.
Yeah, we have as many as 10 listeners. I'm impressed.
Hey, Kat, do hashtags, are they case like sensitive? So if someone does
Mm,
capital F for Forge and the other one doesn't, are we dividing a movement?
I don't think so. I think it automatically pops up.
And do hashtags work on threads? Because, we we got to be agnostic to platform, right? Can't just be all Twitter.
This is true. There's multiple places. I have no clue.
I
I am
this already
social
sounds
media inept. I'm
well,
sorry.
well, this already sounds too complicated. And for someone who's social media inept, you probably got like 20 times the followers I do. So, where were we? Okay. What else do we get? A new hut skin for the clan capital. So was it like a new roof style, I think? Is that right?
I think so. There was a roof. I'd have to open up the game and look at it right now. But yeah, I think it was a roof or walls or something. Maybe both.
Um, what? Goblin dragon statue. That's a decoration. Sure, it's
Yeah.
just kind of proving you bought it this month.
Well, you know what that's going to force me to do, though?
Spend money.
No, I'm going to have to clean up my base because I've always kept like two of everything, like of all the obstacles. And now I've got to take my shovels and probably stash some stuff or sell, heaven forbid, sell the extras of everything that I have without deleting the only one I have of something.
So it's been a hot minute since you've gotten a gem box.
It's I have enough space for a gem box. I don't get trees or anything spawning on my base anymore. So I think that's a sign from the Clash gods telling me to clean it up.
Yeah, maybe they can give us like a little yard or something off to the side and just say, "Here, put all your obstacles here." I don't know. There's got to be
Yeah.
something. Something's got to be done because it's starting to get a little overgrown on my side of the fence too.
But I don't, I'm a bit of a hoarder when it comes to that stuff. So I don't want to lose something that I can't replace. So
What else is in here? Let's see. I have um, well, it said since I'm spending American dollars on it, there's um, a book of everything, or
mhm.
no, three books of everything. So if you're American, you do get the three books of everything. Um, Also, there's one in here for a free massage. So all I have to do is take my tablet in to the local place here, and I get a massage if I reach 2,500 points. Um, there's $4 off my next case of Coke Zero. Um,
Oh, that's important.
yeah,
That must
yeah,
be a gift from Darian.
yeah. It is, and that's you know, sorry, C note.
No Pepsi discounts.
Oh God, no, no. There's a penalty.
So overall, do you think the value is still good? Like, so what is it? It went from 4.99 US to what, 6.99?
Yeah, it's 6.99. Yeah, because eventually once you get to a point where you're not when you're cashing some of these things in for gems, it's a decent deal plus the ability to the one gem donations itself as a co-leader that really pays for it.
Yeah.
Because if the pressure's on and oh shoot, no one filled these clan castles, or oh shoot, including me, I'm like, oh shoot, so I just go in and just start throwing one gem goblins around like an idiot. Um, or but really that's more like one gem hounds and ice golems and things like that. So I
Yeah.
I- they but what a lot of game companies depend on is, especially in like a micro purchases. It's like, well, come on, guys, it's only $2. Like that's only you know, whatever costs $2 these days. Two things
Hmm.
at the dollar store. So what's the big deal? Once a month you
Yeah.
spend two extra, but you get everyone doing that, and suddenly your profit goes up 28%, or your revenue goes up 28%. So
Yeah. No, I know when I was listening to Trample's podcast, and he was saying that he went and looked in his stats for people who use his code there, code Trample.
mhm.
Um, just a little hype there. That he had actually made more money even though less people had used his code,
Oh, good for
and
him.
he wasn't factoring in, I think, the people that had gone to the Supercell shop online and pre-purchased a bunch of gold passes. He didn't count those in his numbers, if I understood that correctly. So
Oh,
I think overall Supercell will probably end up making more money. You do save, what is it, 10% if you go to the shop.
hmm.
So if you're buying from multiple accounts, you're definitely going to save some money there.
Yeah, and my team of handlers have just informed me. I have a team of handlers, Kat, and one of them
Uh-huh.
is actually a mathematician. That it's 40% more to go from 5 to 7. To go from 7 to 5 would be 28 point, I don't know, 7% less or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So my handlers are all over me. My bad.
Sorry.
They hate it when I make math mistakes because it makes me look like a dope. Because I don't do a good enough job at doing that myself.
I was going to, like, I bought three, and then I meant to go back like on the last day, and I was going to buy a few more, right? To Because I think the max you could purchase and have in your stock at one time is 8. So I was going to go buy a few more, but then on the 30th of June, because it wasn't supposed to go up till July 1st, but on the 30th they'd already raised the prices. So I thought that was a little unfair. If your price increase is supposed to be in effect on the 1st, then it should. And it was early enough in the day that you couldn't use the excuse that, well, in Finland it's like 8 hours
Right. Yeah, I
ahead
was
of
going
us
to
to everything.
ask was it technically July 1st in
Yeah,
Finland, but I mean, what do they know? I mean, for them, they don't even care until the calendar hits September, right? I mean, they're
yeah,
on a long vacation, right?
they are on vacation. That was a little bit of a disappointment, but I figure, well, no, I'm still probably going to buy it. I'll just, I'll think more carefully. Instead of buying for 3 accounts, maybe I'll just buy for my 2 main accounts.
Hmm. So yeah, and I guess one of the things I was thinking, I was like, well, I get to the end and there's a book of heroes, and that's
Mhm.
good, but that's also, I think that's on the free tier. I actually have Clash open so I can go look, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's the free tier. And I'm like, well, at the end, why isn't there like the ability to select a book? And then my handlers got at me again and said, well, you dope, there's something called the Book of Everything where you can use it for, you know, as
Anything you
basically
want.
your selectable book. So I guess like if you're spending that much, a little bit extra, why not a
Hmm.
Book of Everything, just as part of the monthly thing? Because
Yeah.
at some point, like the utility of a book of heroes goes away once you max your heroes, but it's only it's a 50, it's 50 gems if you cash it in, um, but you might be way behind on building or spells or troops or something. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It would be nice, especially if you're buying the gold pass. If maybe at the end it says, "Hey, here's a little perk for buying the gold pass. You finish the tier, and we have this, but you also have an option at the end to, if you don't need that book of heroes, to flip it into, maybe you really need an extra book of spells. Some people do, but you know, just give that option.
yeah, yeah. And it also made me think like as legends go, um, the offers you get, like if you look at the available gold, available elixir, available dark, um, when you're hitting a Legends base,
Hmm.
that never increased when bases went to Town Hall 15. Like, I'm
Right,
kind
right.
of interested or curious if they ever considered that. Like, maybe they don't. Darian has mentioned before the Clash economy. Like, they have a decent handle on it, but it's not like the new scatter shots don't cost more than the ones
Hmm.
available at Town Hall 14, which I believe was level 3, right? So level 4 scatter shot costs more and it takes longer. So why not, maybe bump up the offers even just a little on Legends, another 50K or something for max base. I don't know.
Yeah. Although, doing my 8 attacks in Legends, I haven't really had an issue with gaining enough loot to do these things. It's more of I need more builders.
Yeah, for me, it's not so much the builders because I can patiently wait that out. It's more of the, ugh, do I really have to go that long without a hero? How am I gonna
Right.
keep gemming this, or wait for books, or wait for hammers?
Hmm. Yeah, that can be a bit of a long wait. Yeah, and you're sitting out of war again while you're waiting for a hero to upgrade. It would be nice to be able to, yeah, okay, I've got a hero down, but why can't I do wars and just have the hero at the previous level available in war only, not for farming or anything, but in war?
Hmm.
I think that would be nice because if you're for people who are free to play, and there are people out there, like, are they sitting there, for 7 days, 8 days, being out of war simply because they don't
Well, it's
want to
hard.
gem, they don't
Yeah,
want to gem that hero, and
I mean, but and also many of us are Legends players, and
mhm.
what are you gonna? What really hope do you have in Legends if you have
Oh my
two
god,
heroes down? I think
I've done that. It's
you can.
horrible.
Yeah, they find a way to keep you in Legends, though. That's the thing. Like, oh, you only
Hmm.
attack 3 times a day, and you're kind of in low Legends. Well, only 4 people are going to hit you, so it
Yeah,
actually makes it hard to exit Legends, doesn't it?
yeah, and I know there have been some people who are trying to drop out of Legends, and they're experiencing some difficulties dropping out of Legends.
Yeah, but once you get out, oh man, is it easy to just drop like a stone.
Down to bronze.
Yeah, down to bronze. You don't have to worry about loot. Events, the Goblin Champion Challenge. So, Kat, where are you at on this?
I one starred. It's like I find.
Are you in the middle of the attack, or you said you only you finished
Oh
the
no, I
attack?
went all the way to. I
Oh,
finished the
okay.
entire attack, and it was just like, yeah. And I did watch a couple of walkthroughs on it, and it's just, I don't know. For me, for the reward, it's okay, but for the amount of effort that goes into doing this, I have other things going on that I didn't have a lot of time to devote to this.
Yeah,
And
I, I would do just about anything for 25 gems, short of drinking Pepsi. But
mhm,
yeah, okay, 400 XP. Like, the XP is kind of like a big question mark at this point. I mean,
yeah,
a long time ago, levels mattered when there were no clan wars, I guess. But you know, I don't. My level, that's just a number. Hi, I'm Fido, and I'm level 246. So who cares, right? I think, wasn't there a builder potion or a training potion also? I can't remember. But I
yeah,
did it. It was interesting though. Like, I I did end up watching a couple videos because I wanted to compare the methods.
hmm,
Um, to each other and to what I was originally trying. And what I was originally trying wasn't terribly far off. The timing was just, I didn't have the things going in the correct order that
okay.
trample damage told me to. So code trample, which I used for my gold pass purchases. Everyone should use code trample. Um, he he had a great video where you could just um, you could swag quite a few things if you nail it, and if you don't nail it, there's plenty of room for error. So I
I
highly
must be
recommend.
really terrible then because I couldn't get it.
Dang it, Kat, hey, send me your sketch, and we can voice it if you want. I can
Will
get
you
on and
spot me?
yeah, I'd spot you all day.
Excellent.
But I also looked at Itsu's video, which um, it's interesting the perspectives they come from.
Hmm.
Nagitsu had very little swag, um, but there was similar elements. So I'm not saying one is better than the other because I ended up being able to do them both because I was really waiting in line or something. So I'm like, I'll try them both, whatever. May have been on a work call. But anyway, yeah. So Tramples was really effective. I would highly recommend that to anyone who is still looking at that. And as I pop it open, um, Goblin Champions still got 5 days and 8 hours to do that as of this speaking, not of this time it's dropping. So,
Well, now you're
what is it
inspiring
on
me to
here?
do it again.
So that would be the morning of the 15th. You've got till then,
Get
which
it
I'm
done.
told is next Saturday morning. So,
All
Kat,
right.
all right, you have your assignment, your
I have
homework.
my assignment.
Quick, hold on. Let me start the agenda for the next pod and make sure this point gets brought up, Kat.
Don't embarrass me now.
Um, I see so how long have you been trying it over and over, or are you just like, I'll try it a couple times?
I tried it just a couple of times, and things were happening that I just haven't come back to it. So,
Yeah,
I have
I
my hands full.
yeah, I tried it I think 3 times on my own. And they all had the same sort of failing because you think, oh, this actually seemed to work well. Oh, I popped the Teslas that I was expecting,
Hmm.
and then yeah, no. What happens with me that I do worse and worse.
Yeah,
So, um,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah. No, I will. I will go back to it, and I'll rewatch some different videos. There's a few out there, and I'll give it another whirl.
yeah, and mixed in with all this, obviously, it's the Goblin Champion Challenge. As usual, their skins.
Woohoo.
What, what do you? Oh, good grief! So, Skin Master Cat, what do you think of the skins?
Um, I don't mind them. Uh, I like them better than some of the other ones. I bought them all on my main. I didn't buy any of the painter skins because I didn't like those at all.
Mhm.
And I, yeah, I think they're creepy, but I think they are effective. They are definitely goblin,
Yeah, I'm.
channeling that inner goblin.
So, did you buy them all? Is the
Yes.
question.
Well, yeah, of course. On my
Okay.
main, had to.
So, you know what? When Supercell goes on vacation, they're on like the SS Cat. All of the skins and sceneries, like you have
Hey
bought them
now,
their yacht
C Note
trip.
and Ace buy them all too, so I'm not the
Oh,
only one.
and that was your podcast. Oh, you guys are ousting me. I can see the writing on the wall. So just so you know, I kind of looked at these, thought a little silly for me, so I skipped them.
Yeah. Well, nothing's like going to beat the magic skins. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I I found like I think the champion as a group, the champion ones were good.
mhm.
The middle age ones, I think, are the dark age ones. Like those two. Um, but they've done like, how do you keep finding content for these? And so I appreciate that part of it because this has been going on for quite a while by now. Like for instance, if I go in to my king and I hit change skin, I mean, good grief. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, including the default,
So what
plus
you're saying
another,
is you spent some money on skins.
or gold. Some of them are gold pass.
Yes, true.
Um, Not all of them. I only have
Mhm.
three purple ones, so only three have I bought. Right? Does that mean the purple ones are the ones I
Mhm.
bought?
Yeah, those are
Um,
like special edition ones, I
oh,
think.
okay. So I bought three special edition, but I may have bought others along the way. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could have made a liar of myself, but there's even another six. So as my larger point is, they've already come up with 20 different themes. And how do you keep finding themes? That's tricky stuff.
I don't know. I think for the people who are tasked with coming up with the skins, you can have a lot of fun. There's all kinds of different fantasy type things, characters that they could do takes
There
on.
are. Yeah, I mean maybe they could partner with Star Wars for all I know, and you could make the
There
heroes
you
like
go.
like a Princess Leia queen or something. Can you imagine the sales on that if
Darth
they
Vader warden.
figure that out? Well, come on. Darth Vader War. I prefer Darth Vader King because he would just choke out any MFer in his path, you know. Like the Warden is more of a heal. It's like a Ben Kenobi Warden. What do you say for that?
I don't know.
Ugh,
I
argue with
think,
me, why don't you?
okay, fine, I'll argue. I disagree completely. The warden has a cape, so he has to be Darth Vader.
Okay. Well, Ben Kenobi had a robe. Okay. Moving on. So, yeah, part of the theme is like there is like a sunken treasure. It looks like it's underwater on the splash screen when you load it,
Hmm.
and you know, I don't know how that ties in with goblins. Maybe it's a hat tip to the submersible in the Atlantic. I have no idea what they're thinking with that, but okay. And maybe it's goblins like treasure. Here's a sunken treasure boat. But I do like the darker theme of that splash screen, if that helps. Like the painter one really drove me nuts. It was like
Hmm.
giving me a epileptic fit or something. Um, but yeah, I do kind of like the theme. Interesting. There's no scenery with this, was there?
No, unless there's one planning sometime as a surprise. But yeah,
Oh,
usually they do drop a scenery to go with it, don't they?
yeah. And and to think you haven't been minding your credit card closely enough to notice this. That's strange.
Apologies.
I seem to have an extra 10 or 12 Canadian dollars in my account. What's going on?
I haven't zeroed up my bank balance yet. We're good.
So it's been a handful of weeks on this update, what, like 3, maybe about a month. So any difference in your Town Hall 15 experience?
Um, it's a little less frustrating. Um, I've tweaked my comp. Uh, I'm using Clash of Drags right now, and I'm having a modicum of success with it. I know I've heard people talking about hogs being the new meta, queen charge hogs of some sort. I'm going to look into that because I do love using hogs, and I'd love to go back to ground attacks. So
Yeah, what even is a meta? Is it like the way you 2-star? Is that like
I think it's whatever more people are finding success with. Although watching the attacks in SCCWL and in wars, I see a lot of dragons still, a lot of E-Titans. Haven't seen a ton of hog-based attacks yet. So we shall see on that.
I you see enough of them if you watch a couple streams. I don't watch as many streams as I did say 2 years
Hmm.
ago. I've watched a couple this week just to see how it's going with the new update because you can 2-star your life away and just get frustrated, or you can say, well, I want to see what they're doing and see if there's anything I can take away, and that's where I'm at.
Hmm.
um, so what I've been mixing in is a little more of the Yeti super archers because that Yeti upgrade, it's helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, I guess. I've seen more and more bases with their scatter shots maxed out and eagle, so defenses are starting to come online now with the new levels.
Nice. Yeah, and I've always looked at that as like, I know that it was considered an offensive upgrade, but man, those are 3 punishing defenses. And those and Teslas, like the hit points on these things are going up and up. I know.
Hmm.
So the new scatter level pushed it to a 7th lightning being needed on top of the quake. So that was a change, you know.
Yeah. But I guess the one thing we can be grateful is that they did not give us a new level on the monolith. And
Yes.
I know I've talked to a number of people about that, and they just feel that the monolith needs some kind of adjustment I'm not even going to say a nerf, but like if they adjusted the distance that it was able to target, I think
Yeah,
that would be helpful.
you learn the hard way with a flame flinger. It's not just expos and it's not just mortars anymore. So
No, and if you have a monolith sort of close to the Giga town hall, and then you're dealing with a Giga poison. Maybe they've got an invis and a poison next to
oh,
that, and then the monolith,
ammo.
and it's just like everything melts. And
Hmm. Yeah, I think the overlook thing like is the spell towers. Like even though
mm,
they didn't get a level, those are killers. Just because if they're placed well, they just hamper so many attacks. And I don't like being hampered. I'm hampered enough.
we have enough amperage.
As my triple rate increased, I don't know. How about
Yeah.
you? I'm not gonna no comment.
No, well, actually, I can say that it probably has increased. It's now like 1% instead of 0. So yeah, I do get the occasional triple. So I am feeling somewhat hopeful. So,
Yeah, I mean the Yeti Super Archer really is it. You rarely get a low percent. Um,
mhm.
but I find plenty of 1 stars in that strat. Let me just leave it at that. But when it works, especially with like bats on the back end, it can do crazy amounts of damage, and
Yeah.
you can wrap that attack easily in 2 minutes and 15 seconds or less if things
Well,
go well.
and here's the thing is, you know, it comes back to when you're in Legends, okay, you have an army trained and you don't get to hit next. So whatever base that pops up, you're stuck with hitting. And you have to find a way to make whatever you've got trained work on this particular base. And
Mhm.
yes, it's challenging. However, it would be nice if you match this base, you think, man, I really wish I could do a queen charge on this base, but I've got dragons trained, you know, Sarch dragons. And I'd really like to use queen charge hogs or something, you know. So you just wish you had that ability to say maybe you have 2 armies trained, but you've got a ground army and an air army, and maybe you could flip it, you know.
Or geez, you've got the 6 quick train spots or whatever.
Mhm.
Just pick 1 or 2 or
Yeah, pick
all
the army
6
that you
or
want.
all 6.
Yeah.
Hey, I say so
You know what I'm
high.
saying is just to have that ability in Legends to pick the proper army for the base that you get stuck hitting.
Mhm.
I think that would be a great quality of life improvement for next next update.
Yeah, make it happen,
Make it
boys,
happen,
girls.
guys.
Um, speaking of content creators, and we talked Trample.
Mhm.
So do you find yourself watching them for any attack help?
Um, Not as much as I should, not as much as I used to. And I think part of it is I just seem to have so much limited time these days that, when I'm doing something for the game, either I'm organizing something or I'm trying to get my legend hits done or my war hits done. So then, by the time I'm finished all that, it's like, okay, I'd love to sit and watch somebody's YouTube channel to get some ideas for an attack, but then I'd have to go FC it. And, it's just bad time management on my part, probably.
Yeah, but by the same token, like most of the big creators these days are doing recaps.
Hmm.
There's very little by the main ones we all know and love, right? But there's very little teaching, right?
Yes.
When the outset of Clash YouTube there was a little bit of recap, but a lot of teaching.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
now there is just very little of that. Now, a lot of the people doing the recaps are excellent attackers. And they're like, oh, he's doing this. He should do this right now. Yep, there goes the pro doing exactly what I said. And they're like, yep, this is one of my old bases, and I know exactly how to hit this. And then the
Hmm.
pro goes through and does the exact right thing to the base. That ain't me, right? And I find to help viewers more, there ought to be a little more teaching. And I'm sure there are smaller YouTubers out there that are probably trying that or doing it. Um, but it seems to be like from the content creators you know and love, it's mostly recaps these days. And I don't know, like they're not helping me read a base necessarily.
Yeah,
And you can
I
try
agree.
and replicate some hits, sure, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're watching, say, Itsu, for example, and he's saying, okay, um, this is a base I built, and this is how you should hit it. That's great, but I'd love to see somebody, maybe take a base, and I know they have different Clash schools and things where you can pay to have lessons. That's great, but for the average player, there's lots of kids out there, or young people playing the game. They don't have disposable income to go to these different classes.
mm-hmm.
But people want to know, like, how do you read a base? Like, why are you sending your queen in here and, dropping, your warden over here to do this? Like,
What is it you saw that
exactly.
told you to do this?
Exactly.
And
Like,
and I don't like hearing, "Oh, this is one of my old bases."
mm,
Because okay, that's neat, but you're not saying, "Well, the base was designed to do this." The
yeah.
pro is seeing it give up this, and this is why this attack with this entry is the right thing. Because so much of the attack, almost every attack is determined by a successful entry.
Hmm.
And there's what 12 spots on a clock, and when you look, we've all talked about bases like clocks, and there's at least 12 options for an entry,
Hmm.
right? And they, hey, I think this would be baited because these defenses are here.
Yeah.
To someone like me, and like that would be so helpful. But I don't know if I'm the audience they're going for.
Yeah. Now, I believe Carbon Fin was doing a little bit of that base identification education. On Twitter, he would post sort of a screenshot of a base, and he'd highlight areas of the base that he wanted to get. That's kind of helpful for the average person looking at that. Okay, this is what he's wanting to get here, and that makes a lot of sense. I wish more of the content creators would do stuff like that.
Mhm.
I would be very, very interested on, watching, even if they did like a series, right? We're going to run a series on identifying attacks that work on specific types of bases. Yes, you can make, if you're really good, you can make any type of attack work, including Barch. However, for the average player, look at these bases. If it's a ring base, consider doing this. Or if it's, a box base, try this.
Right, and you're right. I do remember that he would have those neat Carbon Fin would have those neat colored boxes of
Mm-hmm.
here's what he wants, and then he shows it unfolding, and that is super helpful.
Yeah,
Um, now but that's all comes down to identification, doesn't it?
exactly. And I think that's what most people struggle with is, why is this person using the exact same attack as me? However, they're tripling and I'm not, right?
Yeah,
So
he,
they're
he's
seeing something different than what I'm seeing.
he's got more than 5 balloons left 1 minute into this attack, so he's doing something a lot
Unlike the
different
rest
than
of
me,
us.
right?
Exactly. Exactly. So,
Yeah, so all right, so we've reached the end of that. Do you feel like doing a top 5 soft drinks, or is that too cruel?
yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
What's your number five then?
My
Or
number
you want
5 is going to be Sprite. Mm.
man after my own heart.
I love Sprite, but it's only my number 5.
Yeah.
But I Sprite's great. Like you can make a frickin' what do they call it? The kiddie drink with the cherry juice in it. I don't know. Oh, Shirley Temple. Yeah.
Yeah. My number five is also Sprite. Particularly, I love Sprite Zero.
So explain Sprite Zero to me. You get no sugar and no
Right.
caffeine. Is it just I like
I like
fizzy?
the lemon lime flavor of it, I guess.
So
It's a
how?
light, refreshing drink. And I'm gonna shade out my local grocery store because they've been out of it for like months,
Oh,
killing me.
really?
Yeah.
Huh. Just stay away from that starry junk. That's a Pepsi product. You don't want anything to do with that.
Don't want any of that.
No. I don't know if this counts as my as soft drink, but I'm gonna go with my number 4 is lemonade. Just lemonade. Um, Especially like something that's um made a little too strong. Like I love like super tart. Like so if we have like country time lemonade, that
Hmm.
powdered stuff, I would always like, whoops, I put too much powder in.
Oh
Oh
my god.
well.
My number 4 is root beer, but not just any root beer. It's got to be A&W.
Really, why A&W?
I don't know. I think it tastes better than the other root beers. It's just a personal preference.
Okay, that's fair. My number 3 is Stolen by Cat is root beer.
Sorry.
Now, I am a root beer fan, and um, it pairs really well with hot dogs for me. So like
Hmm.
we actually were at the baseball tournament this weekend. We went out for hot dogs in between their games, and there's a little hot dog place, and so I pounded 2 root beers there. We had a lot
Oh
of
my
time to
god.
kill, but it's like if I'm eating a hot dog, it feels like a root beer to me.
Okay. My number 3 is Dr. Pepper Zero.
Interesting. What if I have heard some serious devotees to like the is it cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper Zero or Diet Dr. Pepper cherry vanilla or something?
Something
Um,
like that.
yeah, so I've run into like my old boss in Chicago many years ago was a huge like Dr. Pepper Zero or Zero Sugar, if that was even a thing. I don't know. Like Diet Dr. Pepper.
Hmm.
Interesting story, Fado. Thank you. Uh,
So number 2.
cherry Coke. Um, cherry Coke is delish. I like it from the can and from their 2 liter, whatever, but I think a
Hmm.
cherry Coke is best made when you've got like again, get that little cherry juice dunked into like real Coke and oh man. And again, whoops, I put too much in. What's your number
My
2?
my number 2 is strangely enough ginger ale. I love sometimes I just love ginger ale. It's,
Man, there's a lot of people where I live now that there's a specific brand of ginger ale that people go crazy for. It's called Verner's.
okay.
And they're like, oh, I think it's probably made here in Michigan, and that's why people go crazy for it. But Fago is made in Michigan too, and that's just disgusting slop. Might as well be Pepsi.
It's your number 1.
Coke Zero, end of story. I've gone on and on and on about the glorious positives of it. Um, my team of handlers have been researching for a week for cons of Coke Zero, and all they came up with was there wasn't enough of it in the world. So that's my number 1.
I'm glad you did research.
Oh, they no, my well-paid handlers, my
You're wel-
interns did the research. I did none.
My number 1 is Coke, and it's got to be real Coke. It's I Diet Coke and Coke Zero are okay in a pinch, but if I'm really craving a Coca-Cola, I want the bottled stuff, not canned. And the Mexican bottled Coke.
Don't they call it wasn't it the real thing? Wasn't that like a tagline of its
Yeah,
marketing in the 80s, I think? It really
it's the
is the
real
real
thing.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
and was that like after they went to that new Coke disaster?
probably.
They came back and it was Coke Classic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't they uh, like destroy the recipe or something like that? Supposedly.
I think one of the theories, and I don't know if it's been borne out, is that they were going to change the sweetener in Coke
Right.
from real
Right.
sugar to a artificial sweetener. And so to make it less obvious that they put new Coke out there for a short time. That I don't know if that's more of like a conspiracy theory or if there's any validity to it, but that's one theory I've heard.
Mm, interesting. All right, we're at the end of the show. Do you have any shout outs, Fado?
Well, the Coca-Cola company, proudly based in Atlanta, Georgia, always gets a shout out from me, and so I just ran down at least 3 Coke products. I should have said like Minute Maid lemonade, but that we could have gotten 4 of the Coke.
We are
Um,
accepting sponsorships, by the way, Coca Cola.
is Barks root beer on the good side of the force, or are they one of those evil Pepsi company? I can't remember,
I
but
think it depends what country you're in. I'm not sure who makes it up here. I think Pepsi, it's a Pepsi product up here, I believe.
that's just unacceptable. Like they can't even get their own like flagship product right. What the heck are they doing trying to screw with root beer, right?
Exactly.
So a big shout out to the Coca-Cola Company. Big, humongous shout out to Magnus and Peter for all the work they do very quietly during CWL weeks. So thank you guys. And I know Stormy was in there too, filling a lot of clan castles and the managing of rosters. Again, I know this is almost a monthly shout out, but it's a deserved monthly shout out. So
Very
thank you
much so.
guys.
For sure. And for me, I'm going to echo that. Shout out to all the people working behind the scenes for SCCWL. And especially Magnus, he stepped in to run the TWSS event for Team Cat. So big shout out to him for handling that for me. Had some pretty heavy stuff come down on me this weekend. This pod's focused on a game, and we try to have lots of fun with it. But sometimes real life pushes its way back into the mix. And ironically, it's Bone Cancer Awareness Month, and we all know somebody in our lives, either in Clash of Clans or in real life, who've been touched by this disease. So I wanted to shout out all the people who are fighting that battle or have loved ones waging that war. And especially want to shout out my dearest friend, Siobhan, who's been battling leukemia for the past 4 years. And she just received news that she just has a few weeks left. So I wanted to shout her out. And when we talk about people who are heroes, brave, fierce warriors, I will always think of you, my friend.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. The CFF is a family of clans who love to play games such as Clash of Clans and Clash Royale, among others. You can send questions or comments to us on Twitter at RedThornCOC. To get more information on our clans, events, and podcasts, join the CFF Discord at discord.gg/clashfiles.